Hey everybody, and welcome on back to Building with Whip. Today we are starting something brand new, but before we get into that, I want to give a quick recap of what we were doing last episode. Today we're going to be working on the Quarry. I'm super excited for this one. I'm so excited to get that project going. But last episode we came through here and talked about how to detail out custom terrain or just terrain in general to make it much more unique. In this way, we looked into a lot about how to use the path block and how to make that much more unique for your builds and create some custom terrain. This has such a unique and different feeling to it. And how many times can I say unique before it is no longer unique? I don't know. Anyways, that was last episode. We talked about how to build all these trees. If you guys want to check that stuff out, be sure to check that one out. It was super fun. We're talking about oak trees, spruce trees, and some aspen trees. You know they're aspen trees because the way they are. And with that, let's move on down into the area we are going to be working on today. The idea is to fit it down into this general vicinity. I've got a few shulkers of stuff down here that we can use. And I was thinking we're going to be working on today probably finishing up that mountain area right here, making sure we have that thing all the way down here, as well as looking into what the rest of this place is going to look like. I do want to make sure the quarry's not just basically in that tiny area right there that we're going to fill in, that it is also stretching out this way. So I think we're going to have to do some terraforming, probably thinking from about like, let's bring some grass blocks down. Probably about right here, we'll start creating a bit of a way like over to that area, and then we can have a cliff face coming down here, which we can throw in eventually. But that's the plan for now. I need to get a lot of dirt placed in here, apparently eating some chicken as well. So let me do a bit of work here, getting some of this dirt and grass in place so we can have something better to work with. I decided it'd be easier instead of just defining the area to actually fill it in. And this thing's basically just gonna be all flat, so we can easily quarry out this area and probably bring it down in the end. But for now, we're just going to fill it all in and be flat across this level with two high thick blocks of dirt going across here. We now have a giant flattened out area here for ourselves to be building up this quarry in the future, which is just awesome. We do need to get this guy all the way up there to all the way down here so we can start like shaping out everything along this cliff face. But before we do that, I wanted to quickly come in here and go a bit into planning mode. To do that, however, we do need to fly up into the sky, land on top of this shorter mountain right here, the natural Minecraft mountain. What are these things, man? They're basically just a giant block sticking up out of the ground. All right, looking at this thing right here, what my thoughts are is we're going to, actually it might be better to jump on down here. The thought is that we're going to have a few different layers of a quarry. I want to have more or less like levels. So the quarry will be coming up like here. We'll have like a stopping point with like a ramp that'll go all the way around it, like on this side. And then maybe that'll have like a hatchback on it, and then it'll come up here, and then you can walk back along it going this way. And I want to have three different layers. So we have a top one that's a bit skinnier, and you can come across right there, and maybe they're like turning to start excavating out that next layer right up like that. I know that probably makes no sense at all, but that's basically going to be the face over here on this side. We'll just leave that stone up there for future whip plans, I don't know. Then what we need down here is we need to have a roadway basically going from this area here that's going to go down a bit further. I know we just placed all this dirt in, but we're probably going to tear it out in the end, break this guy down a bit further into the ground, make it look like they're excavating down towards the core of the earth as well. Then we're going to have a road coming all the way out here, going along this way. We'll build ourselves up a bridge over that custom river that we created over there, and then that can take us over back into the city area, so we can get all the stone that we mine here into the city, which is the main purpose of it. Outside of that, over here, we do need a few houses and buildings to make this area look like people are living in here. So I was thinking along the cliff over here, we could have like an outdoor taskmasters area where it's kind of open air that people can be like overseeing everything that's happening on in the quarry right there. Attached to it, we can maybe do like another building or something that would be associated with it. Then we'll have maybe 2 or 3 houses over here surrounded by a small camp area and some area to park some wagons to be able to haul the stones back over to the city. So we'll have a few things here ready to go, making this area feel like it's alive. Then of course having some big excavation tools and all of that good stuff. But before we do that, we got to finish up this face of the mountain right here so we can actually figure out what some of the plans are going to be looking like. I do want to use this face kind of as it is right here. We'll probably bring the stone towards us if anything, but I was thinking down in this area, we could probably bring our dirt back over into here a bit further and then do something with like our rock face starting right at this point. You guys have seen me make these general plans here for how the shape of the stuff is going to look. So let me get the blueprint in for what the shape of the mountain is going to look like on this side. That one we're going to leave as default vanilla Minecraft mountain until we get our quarry face built up here. and then we'll like terraforming out and things like that towards the end of it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and do this right now. While I'm doing this, however, I have been making a bunch of changes to the texture pack, so I think we'll jump over into a super flat world and I can show you everything that's going on there. Welcome to Minecraft Splatoon Edition. What I've been working on here, texture pack wise, is I've been working on creating connected textures for concrete powder. This has been the main thing I've been working on. There's a few other tweaks. Basically, the idea behind this was to make concrete powder help concrete, not without changing the block. So this is still the regular concrete block, but if you have Optifine installed and using this texture pack, if you added some concrete powder to it, it really helps it feel much more of a medieval, usable block. It doesn't feel so plasticky and smooth when you have this kind of gross, like roughened up parts all over it. So I think it's a bit big on the scale right now, but I think I like the overall feel for it. I did make some light gray things like this, overlay like the light concrete, as well as like light gray terracotta. Next one I've changed has been the iron bars. Instead of having it being so randomized, like where there's a bar there, there's a bar down, or there's a bar down there, there's a bar up here, there's one down there, and then there was like one right up here again. It just felt very chaotic and very randomized, so I wanted to clean that up a bit, bring the color down to be a bit darker as well. So now we have this one bar across the top, which is pretty common for texture packs. I like this one a lot. Another change I've made for this one is I brought in the new fern that Joppa created. I like the original one that he created, this one right here in his version like 2 of the texture pack for 1.14. And then in version 3 for the texture pack, he created this new one, or 3 or 4 or whatever. That one right there, I like that one, but I didn't like it enough to get rid of the old one. So we're going to have some variation in the texture pack now. So basically, as you place them, you'll get randomized ferns. And this one has a higher priority than that one, but I thought it'd be a cool addition. Next change for the texture pack is jungle leaves. Jungle leaves, we had the old texture for jungle leaves on here, so I went ahead and updated that, as well as tweaked the like bushy leaves texture that brings it outside of it, so it's a bit more contained and not completely obtrusive. I think I'm gonna tweak the rest of these guys a bit more, but I do like them as is right now. The final change I made for the texture pack is probably something that'll be affecting people without really doing too much, is I brought original sandstone back as being like a roughed up block. For a long time, we had this as our smooth sandstone as well as sandstone itself. So this one here, I did tweak the texture on this as well to make it a bit better when you're looking from far away. Now that I'm seeing it, don't like those 2 little specks right there, so I'm probably going to fix that before rolling this out to you all. I do like this new block in here. I basically took Joppa's new sandstone texture that he's working on and tweaked it myself here to make it a bit better for what I want it to be doing. So now that all fits together, I did tweak the colors on endstone and endstone bricks, so they're more in line with the sandstone colors. So that's sandstone over here. And then red sandstone, I'm still in the works of tweaking this one again and making it a bit more usable as well. Sandstone, or sand itself, now has a better like border block like that to it as well. I tweaked that one a bunch and updated over to Joppa's new texture as well. So all those changes are coming in here. I've been spending some time getting all of these different layers in here. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. This thing is pretty freaking tall. I started filling in the bits over here as well, and it's looking pretty good. I think the general idea of what I want this mountain face to look like is getting there. I did make the base down here very, very steep so we can easily carve into it and customize it later as we're working throughout, because I think that'll help us out a lot. But if we come all the way up here to where I would just been building up this small peak right over here, if we look down, it's basically like a straight line after this point, which I'm excited for. I think this is gonna be a good way of building it up and making sure everything here looks realistic. However, it's getting way too freaking late over here right now, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to bed. I'm going to sleep on this project here for a little bit, and then we will come back here fresh in the morning, or tomorrow, I don't know, after work, whatever day it is. I don't actually know. Thursday. It's Thursday. No, I'm totally wrong. It's still Wednesday. Oh man, it's so far from Friday. All right, we're going to come back tomorrow after I have a bit more energy and a bit more creative juices flowing. We'll finish building this thing up, and then we'll work on the rest of this place. And we're back with good old-fashioned time-lapse time. So what I actually wanted to ask you guys while we're going through this time-lapse, because we've talked about how to build mountains enough, we did dedicate a whole last few bit of the episodes here towards terraforming. Anyways, what I want to ask you all is, Minecraft 1.14 update has just moved recently into the pre-release functionality, everything else going on there. What do you guys want to be seeing when we go towards that? And I will actually be putting a poll up there. Hopefully I remember to do this one. But do you guys want to see us basically drop our current projects and move into some new projects when 1.14 gets here, still in the same exact world? Or should we finish out exactly what we're working on now? For example, finishing the Quarry build here, then move over into the new projects. I'm curious to hear what you all have to say about that. I kind of want to just drop everything and move over into the new ones, but I also really want to use the new blocks that we have with the stone slabs and stairs and everything to be able to make the core look super sweet, so we might come back to it after but I'm kind of torn on that one right now. So let me know in the poll on that one, and we can basically take it from there. It's very nice having these mountains progressing along a lot further than they were previously. I brought in some snow up here along the top, so that's all kind of just finished up there, and we can bring in texture variation and whatnot for the stuff later on. I do want to keep this area over here majority just to the stones and everything like that. Don't really want to bring in too much of the cyan terracotta and the gray concrete powder that we have over there, which is actually using that new connected texture I was talking about. Looks pretty dang sweet. And over here, what I've been working on so far since the time lapse has been finished has been I've been plotting out the roads in here and everything like that with cobblestone. So basically the cobblestone's going to be coming up through this area, or the road will be. They kind of turn, take an angle over this area, and we enter into the quarry area right here. Now, these ones right here, the cobblestone slabs, are signifying the lower down area that I'm thinking right now, and I actually want to be bringing this out to be much, much wider than it is currently. I was thinking that we want to go for something a bit larger than that, because that was fairly small right in there. Basically, what this thing is going to be doing is we're going to have a road coming in here, big road like this, all the way throughout here. Then at this point, this is actually going to be coming down. This will be taking a sharp turn back towards this way, and this is slowly going to be stepping down, and further down, and basically have an excavated area where we're being cutting down into the earth, and all the way down over here to where we make like basically a full loop. It'll be very far down compared to that one, probably like an extra 10 blocks below it, hopefully. That's the goal. And then here in the center, I want to have a hole that we can activate with some redstone or something that we can just drop ourselves through down into our whole mining area or something like that. Maybe we'll have a bubble column that'll secretly throw us back up outside of the top of it, maybe appear up over there so we can just take an electro flight off out of here. I think that'd probably be a good way to get out, but going down, I want to have it being like a pit that'll open up below us. What I would like to focus on actually for the rest of today's episode is getting this back stone wall in. It's going to be a lot of planning, it's going to be a lot of figuring things out, but what I was thinking would be a good way to start is just taking some cobblestone and some cobblestone slabs and basically figuring out what our height is going to be looking like, because I don't want to make this thing too steep, but I also want to make sure that we're getting a good, decent amount of blocks up in the air. Right here, I'm thinking that it's okay for it not to be too crazy, but basically I want to figure out the center of this pathway. It's probably going to be about 3 blocks wide as we're going throughout this area here, and it's okay to take a few slabs over at a time, which I think will be really stretching this one out. But basically the goal is going to be going right along like this, making a weird shaped pathway going all the way back there and up there and everything like that. So let me get this done. I'll be back. I'm very much starting to see what the potential end result of this thing is going to be. We're going to widen this roadway out to being about 3 blocks wide is my goal for stretching this thing all the way up here. We have a very winding pathway coming all the way up here. We're going to make it look like we have a bunch of quarried stone coming up to this area and like a bunch of shelves and things like that. So we have an area to walk all the way up here to the tippity top, turn around here one more time. And this height actually perfectly, just by chance, landed ourselves right at here. I'm almost thinking we could hide that hidden door exit point right in here or something. Maybe we just like pull these blocks back or like pull these blocks out. Maybe we pull that one back, jump up out of there, and we time it so the block will slide back in there and lock us back in place. I don't really know. So we land on top of the block. I don't know how to redstone, so maybe we'll figure that one out. Here we do have a good amount of height that we can work with as far as, or a good amount of width that we can work with. We have like that one block right there, and then maybe this will be the outside point right here. Basically, next thing I want to work on is getting the actual road and pathway in, because I think if we do that, it'll be very easy just to bring in the stone up in here and make that area look a lot more interesting. So anyways, we said 3 wide pathway. I want to be using some gravel. I want to be throwing in a bit of coarse dirt in here, so that allows us to use our petrified oak slab, so we can make that door area or the pathway area with slabs look a heck of a lot better than just being cobblestone slabs and stairs going up the entire thing. So we have a few extra ones in here using those ones. And then beyond that, I did want to keep in some of that cobblestone here so we can still have those cobblestone colors, but mostly what I wanted to use in here was a lot of gravel. I feel like gravel is going to be a good way to go because it'll make it look like smashed stones. Just smash things that they weren't able to like fully clean up, or they were mining away at everything here. All of the rocks and things got smashed going down. So I'm gonna fill this thing in, going all the way up here like this, basically this type of pattern throughout, and I'll be back. And there we go. We got the rough walkway in, going all the way up here. It's feeling super great walking up this thing. I can only imagine once the stone right here is stretching all the way across this thing, it should look pretty dang cool. We are going to want to bring in some texture variation to the stone itself, making it look like it was cut away, potentially using some andesite to make it feel more roughened up. and all of that good stuff going on from there. That's the next step of this one, though. Just want to quickly walk through this area, see if there's anything hanging out here that we could easily like swap, maybe something like you. And then for now we can do like that right there, might be a bit better. And coming up here, it's okay that this one's a bit skinnier because this is the top, so they haven't fully cleared out everything where they're going throughout. And it kind of ends off at this point that we were talking about previously. I do like this one a lot. I think it's going to be a really good fit for us for where we're going with everything. And I've been coming up here to the edges and making it look like it's falling off and tumbling off a little bit here, so making this feel like it fell off the edge there. Our stone is now in place throughout this entire area, and it is looking so freaking fantastic. I am absolutely in love with our quarry so far. I can't wait to get back here next episode and start working on all this stuff. It seems like 1.14 is just around the corner, so this might only be a 2 or 3 episode project to get things set up here before we transition into that. I think we're going to be starting like a season 2 almost of this series, where we're basically going to throw everything here into our good old-fashioned ender chest, throw it all in the shulker boxes, start with no gear, maybe some iron tools or something like that, just to get ourselves started a little bit. But I think that'll be coming up here soon, so let me know what you think about that. I think it'd be a good way to restart things and refresh things and mix things up. But we're going to be moving about 4,000 or 5,000 blocks south and start working on some new projects for a little bit. We will be coming back here. Can 100% confirm we will be coming back here to finish up everything in this area. I'm not abandoning these projects. It's just basically I want a bit of a refresher in this world, more or less. Now, our commenter question of the day is coming in from Octai Janie, and they're saying, in spirit of upcoming Game of Thrones Season 8, what do you think about a dragon's nest at or near the summit of the mountain? I think it'd be cool to add a fantasy aspect to the world. Keep up the great work. Alright, so I do enjoy that idea. I also am a big Game of Thrones fan, so hype for Season 8 starting now. That's so freaking cool. But what if we came back in here and added some more fantasy aspects? Mostly what that got me thinking about is I wanted to ask y'all what you thought about adding organics into this world, like large dragons flying all over the place, things happening throughout the world, adding in more creatures instead of just buildings. Basically, like where this looks like it's moving. It's not actually moving, but it looks like it is because we have that smoke coming out behind. So maybe we do like a flying dragon outside of Dragon's Roost or something like that. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's episode. As our sun is setting here, I think it's time we end this one off. So please hit that like button if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new, and I will catch you on the flip side.